should they just give in now and sign Dak to that long-term deal and make a run and make everyone happy?
Well, that's what they will do because they cave in negotiations. That's their way. That's Jerry Jones's way. He has said that everything that he's gotten, like all his best deals as a businessman in his life, he's always so-called overpaid for them in the moment. In other words, he's not a guy who tries to make his money on the margins. He has this big imagination. So, yeah, eventually he's going to cave on the margins and sign him to a long-term deal, but he shouldn't. I mean, that's in chess. You know, you prepare to castle, then you castle. In boxing, you jab your way inside, now you're inside, now you go to the body. You know, you don't tie up, you don't delay castling. You prepare to make a move and then you follow through. That's not what the Cowboys are going to do here. So what does this mean? They have built a team right now designed to see if Dak Prescott is the truth. The truth. Not just a good quarterback, a leader, a kind of guy you want, but a guy who can bring you the Super Bowl. Can he win in the playoffs? Can he advance? And when you've done that, and you slap the franchise tag on him, then what you should do is follow through and see if you're right or see what the answer is. Because what they just did with this Worley move, who's a very good player, by the way, with spending 2 top draft picks on corners, adding another defensive player in the defensive backfield, adding an elite receiver, the best in the draft, to a receiving corps that already had Amari Cooper, who you traded a first-round pick for, and who's a legit #1 wide receiver. You know, they've done things. They can absolutely defensively play against the pass, and they can certainly, you would think, if they have the right quarterback, throw the ball down the field and move the chains and do what they have to do. They have an all-world running back. They have every single thing you need, but particularly in the passing game now, they're set up to see what they truly have at quarterback. What they should do, therefore, is wait to strike that deal until they know. Because even if it turns out that they're right, they got the right quarterback, and he resets the market, they're going to have him reset the market anyway. He's not going to reset the market by $10 million a year. He's going to reset it by a little bit. Either way, it costs them nothing. They've prepared to do it. They should now do it, meaning delay the big contract, but they're the Cowboys, so they won't.
They should have signed Dak Prescott to a long-term deal a long time ago. The minute you took care of Ezekiel Elliott, considering his checkered past, and you guaranteed him $50 million and gave him a $95 million contract, you should have taken care of Dak Prescott. You should have taken care of Dak Prescott before you gave Amari Cooper $100 million. You should have taken care of Dak Prescott before you took care of Jalen Smith, because he's your quarterback, widely recognized as the most important position on the field. And to me, every time they sign somebody else before taking care and prioritizing Dak Prescott, it's an insult to Dak Prescott. And what's annoying me about all of these pundits, everybody that talks about this stuff on the air, I understand everybody's football knowledge. I understand cap implications. I understand, long-term versus short-term, a 4-year deal instead of a 5-year deal, and Dak Prescott going back and forth because he wants to be a free agent after the 4th year. That way he can position himself to get a boatload of money down the line, and Jerry Jones might be fighting all of that off. I get all of that. My issue is very, very simple. If this were Tony Romo, same numbers, same record, same situation, you would have signed him by now. That's my problem. And I'm not going to let that go because nobody wants to bring that up. That is the issue to me. The issue to me is that Tony Romo would have been signed. Dak Prescott came into the National Football League as a 4th-round pick. Tony Romo was hurt. Dak Prescott played lights out during the preseason, started off the season, was flat out balling. People were contemplating about Tony Romo coming back, and everybody and their grandmother knew that this was Dak Prescott's team. Even guys that used to play and win Super Bowl championships with the Dallas Cowboys knew Tony Romo's day was up in Dallas because of Dak Prescott. Everyone was willing to concede that but one man, and that was Jerry Jones, who would not budge, who kept going in front of the media week after week, giving indications that Tony Romo could be back. We are excited. We haven't given up. This is his team, et cetera, et cetera. You hesitated until the 11th hour and 59th minute to give Dak Prescott the keys to the franchise. And now that he's earned it, Leading your franchise, never missing a game, never missing a practice before last season, one practice that made back page news. Reliable, dependable, trustworthy, a leader, model citizen, etc. And this is the guy you choose to give a hard time to before you sign. I think it's disgraceful.
Why do you think that is, Stephen A?
I don't know. Because I like Jerry Jones, and I'm not going to make accusations against him, but I don't like it.
My sense is that when you think about what we thought when we watched Tony Romo and what we think now when we watch Dak Prescott, is Romo at his best is better than the best version of Prescott we've seen so far. And I know Dak puts up big numbers, but the league increasingly is putting up big numbers. I think Romo, in the context of his league, was considered at a higher level than Dak at his best, and he was in his prime. Maybe Dak is still getting there. Is considered better than Dak is right now. Not that Romo ever went very far in the playoffs either, but Dak has not. When you look at where they spent money, remember when Jerry Jones said he wanted a war daddy, a guy who would get the quarterback, DeMarcus Lawrence, he paid him. He went out and spent the money on his lead wideout, the money on his running back, and he also invested draft capital, because not only did he have to pay Amari Cooper, he had to trade a first-round pick for him. Not only did he have to pay Ezekiel Elliott, didn't have to, he chose to. He spent the fourth overall pick in the draft on him. In addition to spending that money, they go out and draft 2 top corners and then sign another corner and draft a top wideout. They are doing everything to find out if Dak Prescott is the guy without paying him. That's, I think, still what this is about. And I think at this point they should follow their plan, though I don't think they will.
They wouldn't do it to Tony Romo. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.